fewer than 34 minutes a game in any of his previous 17 seasons. But since the start of February, he's on pace to lead the league in minutes for a single month for the first time since he was a 21-year-old. As for his part, LeBron will not admit to being tired.
This whole narrative of, LeBron needs more rest, or I should take more rest, or I should take time here, has become a lot bigger than what it actually really is. I've never talked about it. I don't talk about it. I don't believe in it. We all need more rest. I mean, this is a fast turnaround from last season, and we all wish we can have more rest. But, I'm here to work, and I'm here to punch my clock in and be available to my teammates. And if I'm hurt or if I'm not feeling well, then we can look at it then.
Well, we'll see him work coming up later on. Lakers and the Jazz. Sports Center with Stephen A. Smith is coming up top of the hour here, and he joins us right now on Sports Center. And LeBron's not going to admit it, but you will be. You will tell us something about this. How concerning is LeBron's usage right now?
I don't think it should be a concern at all. He's averaging about 35 minutes a game. He's averaged about a little over 36 for his career. He's averaged less than 35 minutes per game since he's been a Laker in his third year. And we understand who he is. It's amazing to me that people are even having this discussion. And I don't blame LeBron James for appearing a bit perturbed by it. Let me get this straight. I'm in my 18th year. I'm 36 years of age. And I'm not the one hurt. That would be Anthony Davis. That would be Dennis Schroeder. I'm the one that's healthy. I'm the one that hasn't missed a game yet. I'm averaging over 25 a game. I'm still considered universally as the best player in the game, or at the very least top two. And we're concerned about me. The Los Angeles Lakers are on a 3-game losing streak. They got to get their act together. LeBron is your point forward. He's your decision maker. In the end, what it comes down to is this. The man takes phenomenal care of his body, and we should trust that he knows what is best, because all of these trainers, all of these experts, all of these fitness gurus that's working with other players, they the ones missing games, and he the one playing. So I don't blame him for looking at everybody else like, why y'all talking to me? Why y'all worried about me for? Worry about them brothers that's on the sidelines watching me play. I'm still the one out here. It seems to be a sensible position to take.
Excellent point there. In the era of load management, he has played every single game this season. All right, let's go from the Lakers to the Celtics. Big topic here. Luka Doncic, that game winner, a thriller. I mean, he handed the Celtics their 5th straight road loss, and it's all because of what he did from the outside. Now, the C's are in Atlanta tonight, and get this, Boston is the only team with multiple All-Stars, but holds a record below the 500 mark in the league. How much of this falls on the head coach, Brad Stevens, right now, and how the Celtics look and how they're playing this month?
My personal opinion, it does fall on him. And if you want to throw Danny Ainge into the mix for getting personnel for him to coach, fine, so be it. I won't sit up there and just shrug that off. But the reality of the situation is this is the game of basketball. It's not football where you got an offensive line, a defensive line, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defensive backs, safeties, linebackers, all this stuff. It's the game of basketball. They got 2 studs. 2 All-Stars, under the age of 25, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can ball. Now, Marcus Smart has missed about 14 games this year. We understand that he hasn't been healthy. We get that. We also recognize the fact that Kemba Walker has missed this year, even though he's back in the lineup. He's missed about 15 games this year. He doesn't seem like himself, only shoot 37% from the field. But the bottom line is this. In the sport of basketball, when you got 2 studs, that young, that athletic, with good size on them, in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you should not be a below 500 team. And at some point in time, Brad Stevens, who I believe to be, for the most part, an excellent coach, definitely knows the game inside and out. In today's game, it's about being a leader of men. It's about being able to galvanize the troops and peel from them something inside of them that they might not even know they have, Kevin. And in the end, what we have seen from Brad Stevens thus far this season, it's not been that. And so at some point in time, when are you going to ask? If it was anybody else that had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in their roster, we'd be asking them that question. Why do we not ask that question about Brad Stevens? That's all I'm saying in that regard.
And that's why we ask you that question tonight here on SportsCenter. Appreciate the answer. Of course, much more from Stephen A. coming up. Top of the hour, SportsCenter special. Stephen A. Smith, of course, getting you ready for a doubleheader of hoops here on ESPN. Speaking of hoops, the schedule for the second half of the NBA season was released earlier today. It includes at least 2 more games between the Lakers and Clippers. The Clippers won the matchup between the two on opening night. These teams are currently separated by just a half a game out west. LeBron had a game-high 32 when he faced Brooklyn 6 days ago, but the Lakers lost by double digits. He'll get his chance for revenge on April 10th maybe we'll see KD and AD on the floor. Steph Curry and the Warriors will be in Boston in the midst of a 4-game road trip to play the Celtics on April 17th. That's a game you'll be able to see on ABC. Other action and notable games. Second half gets started for everyone on March 10th. The Spurs and Grizzlies, both of whom had to deal with COVID pauses so far, have the most games scheduled with 40 apiece. That also includes 11 back-to-backs from Memphis and San Antonio. Ryan?
Not easy for them. Hey, Kevin, let's talk high schools. McDonald's All-American game rosters were announced today on the Jump. The selections include Jaden Hardy, the number 2 overall prospect in ESPN's ranking of the top 100. The game won't be played due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but I tell you, Hardy is one of 6 players on the roster yet to commit to a school, and that also includes the number 1 player in the class, according to ESPN, Chet Holmgren. No surprise, Duke and Kentucky will each have 2 players in this game, but so will Michigan in Caleb Houston and Kobe Buffett.
Let's go to the other side for the women. The top prospect and UConn signee, Azzi Fudd, headlines the 2021 Girls McDonald's All-American class. Fudd, a senior for St. John's College High School in Washington, D.C., had a limited season. She played just 2 games, but her resume is still among the best among all high school prospects. She was the 2019 Gatorade National Girls Basketball Player of the Year, 2-time USA Basketball gold medalist for the under-16, under-17 teams. Fudd is the 4th number 1 prospect in the past 5 years to commit to UConn. That list, of course, includes Paige Beckers, who's enjoying a fantastic freshman season in stores. She won't be the only future Husky on the floor. UConn will send 3 players to this game, or at least scheduled and picked on this team, one behind South Carolina for the most.
Still ahead. After Alex Smith said he originally was not wanted on the team, what's his current outlook to stay with Washington for next season? And stand by for tonight's NBA betting guide. Tim Legler delivers the advice you need to know surrounding Steph Curry, Zion, and the Celtics' pressure to get back on track. Let's go back to the NBA. A handful of newcomers among NBA All-Star reserves, including Zion. The Pelicans star averaging 25 points per game, up near the top in points in the paint. Could we see Zion in the dunk contest? He was asked that and he said, who knows, I might. That's good enough for us if you want to get excited. And here he is on being an All-Star.
Man, the initial reaction was, it was just like people saying like, congrats, but I don't think it hit me until my mom told me, and I was like, wow, like, that's crazy. I just want to thank my coaches, my teammates, those guys trust me to go out there and, be who I am. And I'm honored, man. It's a blessing to be able to take part in that All-Star game.
Very grateful. Williamson is set to become the 4th youngest player to appear in an All-Star game. Only Kobe, LeBron, and Magic Johnson were younger. But he isn't the only first-timer heading to Atlanta. Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, Julius Randle will also be making their All-Star game debuts on March 7th. And this just into SportsCenter, Devin Booker will replace the injured Anthony Davis in the All-Star game. Maybe LeBron's stumping helped. He called him the most disrespected player in our league after he wasn't selected to the reserves. Davis is out with a calf injury. Booker's averaging 24.7 points per game this season for the resurgent Suns. They haven't made the playoffs since 2010, but are 4th in the West as we speak. So for more on tonight's NBA slate, let's bring in Tim Legler. Now, Legs, what are you watching for when the Lakers face the Jazz, a team that's won 14 straight at home?
Well, Ryan, I won't call any regular season game a must-win unless it's the last game of the year and you have to make the playoffs. But I think it's pretty close for the Jazz from this standpoint. You're trying to set the tone for where you really are in the pecking order in the Western Conference. So if you're going to get the Lakers shorthanded and there's no Anthony Davis out there, you've got to win this game, particularly when the Lakers right now are in a little bit of a midseason rut. They've got some guys down, and I also think it's that time of the year for a champion. These are the dog days of the season, the middle of the season. So if you're the Jazz, you've got to come out and execute that offense and shoot the 3 the way that you have against everybody else this season. Number 1 3-point shooting team in the league by a landslide, and against a very good Lakers defense, even without AD. I want to see the Jazz be able to execute against them, and you've got to take care of a team like this that's in front of you missing a superstar. It's that simple.
All right, now let's get to tonight's betting guide. The Warriors at the Pacers. The over-under is 30.5 points for Steph Curry tonight. What do you think?
I'll take over. This guy's been unbelievable. And there's something about Steph when he comes east on these trips. I think he likes to put on a show for these places. I know there's nobody in the building, but still, you've got the fans of those teams watching. It's the one time he's going to be in that building all year. It does something to him. He's electric. He is on a roll right now offensively. He has said some of the best basketball he's played in his entire career. If it's coming from his mouth, I believe him. Indiana's a good defense, but I think Curry goes over that number.
All right, he dropped 37 on the Knicks last night, but the Pacers are not the Knicks. Now, the Pelicans host the Pistons. What about 33.5 combined points and rebounds for Zion?
I'm going to go over as well. I think this is a guy that's energized by making the All-Star team. He's going to come out with a lot of bounce and adrenaline. Basically, to get 33-plus in those two categories, you're talking about his season averages. He's about 26 a night, about 6-7 rebounds. So if he just has an average game, he's going to get to those numbers. The only thing that can hurt it would be if they're up 25 in the fourth and he goes to the bench early, maybe he comes up short.
Okay, now the Celtics have lost 5 straight on the road, but they're 2.5 favorites at Atlanta. Does Boston cover?
I think they do cover. They almost have to. I think I look at where they're at right now. It's a 500 team with 2 all-star forwards, right? That doesn't add up. And another guy in Kemba Walker, who we know is an explosive offensive player, although he has struggled. They had a very difficult loss to Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks at the end of that game. So that maybe emotionally they're not in a great place, but they also see a team like Atlanta that is really struggling and a team that is not great defensively. If you're Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics, this is a game you have to use to maybe get yourself back on track. So I think they cover that.
Could be their turnaround game. All right, for all your betting needs, Tim Legler, thank you so much.
Thanks.